Good day everyone, welcome back to school. Today we're going to start with our first grammar session. It's going to talk about the present simple tense. I hope you enjoy and benefit as much as possible. Let's start. Today we are going to learn the usage of the present simple tense, how to use the verb in the present simple tense or its form, how to negate a sentence in the present simple tense, how to make a question in the present simple tense, some time expressions to help us identify the present simple tense in a sentence, what an adverb of frequency is and where to add it in a sentence. So let's start. The first thing is the usage of the present simple tense. So let's see a couple of sentences and let's start to guess what this usage is. Babies drink milk. It snows in winter. The sun rises in the east. Water evaporates at 100 degrees Celsius and freezes at 0 degrees Celsius. So can you guess what this usage is? I'm sure you guessed correctly. This is a fact. A fact or a general truth is something that is known to be true. No one can argue about it. It's always true. It's always going to be there. Like the sun. One day, we're not going to wake up and find the sun didn't rise. It rises every day. And it rises in the east. So that's the first usage of the present simple tense. We move on to the second one. I wake up at 6:30 every day. She brushes her teeth before sleeping. He washes his face in the morning. The cat never sleeps in her special bed. We go to school every morning. Okay, can you guess what this usage is? I'm sure you guessed correctly. This is a habit. Habits are things we do regularly. Things that happen every day or every week or every month. We do them regularly. Okay? Like I wake up at 6:30 every morning. I go to school. I wash my face. I brush my teeth. This is my daily routine, or it's a habit. The third usage, let's try to guess. Mom works in an office. They live in Cairo. We love our parents. She owns 5 dogs. Can you guess what this usage is? This is called a permanent situation. A permanent situation is a situation that hardly changes over time. It stays for a long time, like living in Cairo. Do we up and move tomorrow? That rarely happens. It hardly changes over time, so it's permanent. Okay? Now that we're done with the usages of the present simple tense, let's move on to how we use the verb in the present simple tense. Notice the coming sentences. We have great neighbors. I like their children. They play with me on vacations. My father often invites them to our house. My mother always prepares food and snacks for all of us. The cat hides away when they come because we are so noisy. Can you spot the verbs in these sentences? You are perfect, I'm sure you did so. The red words are all verbs. Did you notice something different about the verbs in each sentence? Let's see. We have I like. They play. Did anything happen to the verb here? No, nothing at all. We don't add anything to the verb with the preposition, the pronouns I, we, they, and you. But let's see. My mother prepares. My father invites. The cat hides. So what happened to these verbs? We added something. What was it? It's the S. Perfect. So with he, she, and it, we add S, ES, or IES. Let's remember how these go. There are some certain spelling rules. Most verbs take S in the third person singular. What are the third person singular pronouns? He, she, and it. So, work, works. Dance, dances. Read, reads. Speak, speaks. Verbs ending in double S, SH, CH, and X and O take ES. Like what? Kiss, kisses. Wash, washes. Watch, watches. Fix, fixes. Verbs ending in a consonant plus Y, we drop the Y and take IES. Study, studies. Cry, cries. Fly, flies. Copy, copies. What are the consonants? The consonants are the letters that are different from the vowels. Can you remember the vowels? A, E, I, O, and U. So any verb ending in a consonant plus Y, we drop the Y and it takes IES. So we move on to the vowels. Verbs ending in a vowel plus Y, it takes S. So play, plays. Say, says. Enjoy, enjoys. Obey, obeys. Now we move on to how to negate a sentence in the present simple tense. Spot the verbs with me. I don't like burgers. We don't have a dog. You don't have to bring a gift. The students don't understand the lesson. She doesn't get the joke. Ahmed doesn't come to school late. It doesn't have 5 legs. Where are the verbs? Exactly as before, the red phrases are the verbs. But what happened to the verb here? It became in the negative form. Okay? So with I, we, and you, what did I add? I added do plus not. Don't. Don't like. Don't have. Okay? But with the rest, she doesn't get. Ahmed doesn't come. It doesn't have. So with he and she and it, what happens? We add doesn't and take away the S from the verb. So doesn't eats away the S of the verb. So doesn't get. Ahmed doesn't come. It doesn't have. So with the singular, I don't play. You don't play. But the third person singular, he, she, and it, we add doesn't and read the verb of the S. And with the plural, we don't play, you don't play, and they don't play. We add don't plus the verb. Okay? Now we move on to how to make a question in the present simple tense. Do I like burgers? No, I don't. Do you have a dog? Yes, we do. Do we own this place? No, we don't. Do they understand the lesson? Yes, they do. Does she cook? No, she doesn't. Does he like reading? Yes, he does. Does it drink milk? No, it doesn't. So where are the verbs? The words in red. The first one, or the first couple of sentences, do I like burgers? Do you have? Do we own? Do they understand? So with I, we, they, and you, what happens? We add do plus the pronoun plus the verb. So do I like? Do you have? Do you get? Do they understand? But what happens with the third person singular? Does she cook? Does he like? Does it drink? So I add does instead of do. And as before, I read the verb of its S. So, does it drink? Okay? So, do I, we, they, or you work in an office? Does he, she, or it live in Seville? Okay? That's the end of the question, and that would be the end of the form of the present simple tense. Now we move on to the time expressions. What are the time expressions? Time expressions are words or phrases that help us identify the tense of the sentence. How do we know this sentence is in present simple tense or present continuous tense, for instance? We know with these words, or the time expressions. With the present simple, they are words that go as follow. I walk to school every day. She visits her grandparents every week. He travels twice every year. They shower daily. The class teacher changes annually. She has a training session on Mondays. He prepares dessert for his family at the weekend. So where are the time expressions? The words in red. So every week, every month, every year. So it shows as something that happens regularly. It's repeated regularly. Daily, annually, every day, every week, it's the same meaning. Annually means every year. On Mondays, on Tuesdays, on Thursdays, and at the weekend. These are the time expressions for the present simple tense. There are also the adverbs of frequency. What's an adverb of frequency? It's a word that tells us how often something happens. She always smiles. I usually have a headache from loud music. We often go to the club together. He sometimes falls asleep while talking, and the cat never bites anyone. These words show us how often something happens. Like always happens 100% of the time. All the time this happens. Like she always smiles. Whenever you meet her, she's smiley, she's cheerful. Usually happens about 80% of the time. Sometimes about 60%, rarely about 30%, and never means it doesn't happen at all, 0%. We move on to how we use adverbs of frequency, where to put them in a sentence. Notice the sentences with me. Tom always gets angry. Ming is sometimes late for work. Sally never drinks coffee. Where is the adverb of frequency in these three sentences? In the first sentence, it's always. In the second one, sometimes. And in the third one, never. Which one has the adverb of frequency before the verb, and which one has it after the verb? So, let's see. I'm sure you guessed perfectly well. So, an adverb of frequency comes before all kinds of verbs. So, always come, never get, sometimes have. So, an adverb of frequency comes before all types of verbs, except for one. It's a very strong verb. Which is it? It's verb to be. What happens with verb to be? The adverb of frequency comes after verb to be. Is sometimes, or always. They are always happy. We are never on vacation. Okay? That happens even in questions and in negative. Okay? Like what? Where does she always sleep? Okay? When do you usually go to school? And you don't always come early. So where is the adverb of frequency? It's before the verb. Always sleep. Usually go. Always come. Okay? Remember, all adverb of frequency are asked about using how often. How do we ask about an adverb of frequency? We use how often. How often do you go to sleep? I always go to sleep at 10 p.m. How often do you invite your neighbors home? I invite them every day, okay? And by that, we arrive at the end of our lesson. Thank you very much.